Story time. Hey, you guys. So, I've actually been told that I should tell my story, right? I have a lot of stories actually to tell, but I figured you guys can make a lanyard with me. I'm making lanyards right now. And yes, I am in my uniform. I'm actually on call. I'm on reserve right now. So if they call me, you got to be ready to go. Um, so my son is 5 years old, and he wants to learn about God, right? So I said, okay, absolutely. Every night, of course, he says his prayers, but he may not know why, right? But he's always asking me, is God real? And I tell him, absolutely. Well, how do you know? I said, because you're here. Like, dude, you're here. That's how I know. But of course, I've had many stories or things that have happened to me in my life that tells me that God is real, right? But since we're on my son, I'll tell you about him. So maybe 10 years ago, I was told not to have kids, right? Of course, doctors don't know everything, and especially in this case, they didn't. But I was told not to have kids, one, because I have a brain tumor. Okay. Now, the tumor that I have is benign, but it's a pituitary tumor. And with having that, of course, it triggers your hormones and all that good stuff. So I was told, yeah, if you get pregnant, get rid of it. This is 10 years ago, okay? I know they frown on that now, but this is 10 years ago. I said, no, do not get pregnant. Under any circumstances, do not get pregnant. Okay. I said, okay, I won't. Well, we got pregnant, and then I had a miscarriage. So I said, okay, I see what he's saying. Like, I'm more than likely, because of my hormones being all wacky, I may not be able to, I guess, go to full term, right? So I ended up getting pregnant again. And I was told that I was miscarrying. And because I've had a miscarriage before, I'm like, oh, okay, whatever. Well, I was bleeding. Yes, actually, I was on an overnight in Denver. And I called my husband, and I was like, oh, my God, I think I'm miscarrying. I didn't even know I was pregnant, But I was like, I think I'm miscarrying, like something's going on, right? So he's like, oh, okay. We didn't think anything of it. I'm like, well, it is what it is, whatever. Well, I get home and I was like, you know what? I need to go to the doctor because something's up. Actually, you know what? Sorry, take that back. I got a pregnancy test from the dollar store. Yes, they do work. So anyway, I got that pregnancy test. Come to find out, yes, I'm pregnant. So I said, oh my God. All right. Well, what do we do? What are we going to do now? Because they said not to get pregnant, right? Well, excuse me. I said, okay. I have to wet the string a little bit. So I said, okay. We go to the doctor. They're like, yep, you're miscarrying. You're bleeding a lot. So just give it about a couple of weeks, we'll test you again to see if the pregnancy is still active. Okay. Well, a couple of weeks go by. I never got like a huge anything come out, right? Visual, right? I didn't get anything. So I'm like, okay, well, maybe it's just in there. Maybe they have to do the DNC and just remove it. Well, I'll go back. And I do the blood test, and they're like, wait a minute, you're pregnant. Like, you need to go and have an ultrasound done. I said, okay, well, let's get this ultrasound done, But I'm still bleeding, mind you. Like, I'm still spotting, and I mean, like, it's pretty bad to where I'm wearing a pad every day. I'm still bleeding. So we go get this ultrasound done, and the lady, now the technician doesn't know the struggles that we've had or even that we're having at the moment, but all she sees is a heartbeat. So she's like, oh, yeah, and there's your baby. heartbeat strong. And my husband's at the foot of the bed, and he's like, so that line right there, that's that's his heartbeat. That's the heartbeat. And then she was like, yeah. And he just, and then I said, wait, so we're pregnant? Mind you, we've never gotten this far, right? She's like, yeah. Confused, right? As she should be. But I fall apart. I lose it in there. And I mean hard, to where she's like, okay, I'm gonna give you guys a moment. I was like, okay. So she leaves out the room. Now my husband's crying too. Like, we're just a mess because, like I said, I was told not to have kids. So now we're in that headspace, like, you know what? We don't want anything to happen to me, but my motherly instincts kick in. Now, one of the things that they told me that could happen is that I could go blind, right? Now, at the time, around the time that I found out that I had my brain tumor, I lost my sense of smell. And this is before COVID, okay? I lost my sense of smell, and I was like, dang, like, something is up. Like, I don't know. And then also I was bleeding, and it wasn't my period. So I went and got checked. Now, one of the issues, though, with having a baby, I could go blind. Of course, I can lose my sense of smell. That tumor can grow. It can grow to where it's pressing up against things it doesn't need to. So I'm like, you know what? I don't care. Like, I've gotten this far. God will see me through it, right? Boy, that pregnancy told me up. He's such a blessing to be here, of course. But he healed me. Like, so the body works in mysterious, like, these crazy ways, right? So this boy, I also left this part out. I also had fibroid tumors. Okay, so not only did I have this brain tumor that's working against this baby, but also have fibroids, and the fibroids were huge. And yes, I use wire too. But the fibroids are huge. And also I had a big old fibroid blocking my birth canal. So as he's getting bigger, my body is healing itself. But I went through a time where my fibroids, they were losing their blood supply. And they told me that they were going through a degeneration stage, right? So the pain from that, out of this world. It felt like I was being stabbed to death every minute. Like, I counted it. I timed it actually one day, because it was literally every minute. I'm like, okay, it's coming. Okay, it's coming. Like, it was bad. And I mean, just imagine, like, just being like every minute. And I couldn't stop it for, like, it was almost 2 weeks I went through that. Every minute when my body started to relax. So it's like at night, sleep was horrible. I had to, like, sleep to where my body was, like, deformed. Like, it was a mess. But anyway, excuse me. I don't know what's in this stuff. All I want to do is drink this. Now I've gas. Anyway, so since I'm going through that degeneration stage, whatever, the tumors are dying. And that's because the baby is taking the blood supply, right? So, which is good, right? Because I was like, well, these tumors they're going to take up, like, all this blood. And no, your body knows what to do. So instead of hurting the baby, it was killing the tumor, the bad, right? I had high blood pressure, everything. Blood pressure was through the roof. Got pregnant, it started to simmer down and become normal, right? Not only that, I couldn't get my head checked because, pregnant. But I didn't have any issues. My breathing, everything was fine. It didn't grow the whole time I was pregnant. Tumor didn't grow. when in reality, like not reality, but when the doctor told me it would, it did not, didn't grow. Fibroids dying off, baby growing great, right? So he's about I'm probably about 7 months pregnant. And then we're checking her like, yeah, you have that tumor blocking your birth canal. We're hoping something changes. If it doesn't, then we may have to get, a cesarean. I said, oof, I don't want nobody cutting on me now. But I mean, hey, it is what it is. So now we're to the end. I want to say it was probably a couple of weeks before they were going to induce my labor because my blood pressure started to spike. So they're like, okay, let's check it again. Yeah, that tumor that was blocking your birth canal, it's not there. It moved. Like, it's over here now. So I'm like, what? Like, yeah, it happens. Okay. All right. So we're doing this. All right. Yeah, my goofball self. So fast forward. I have this boy. I didn't do any birthing classes. I should have. I just didn't. Yeah, I don't know where I thought this boy was coming out, but I guess I thought he was going to come out of my belly button because I was not pushing right. All I knew is all my girlfriends, for the most part, that had natural births, they got hemorrhoids. And I was like, yo, I am not getting hemorrhoids. I'm not, no. Like, I got to draw the line somewhere. I'm not getting hemorrhoids. Well, because my goofball self was like, they're like, push. I'm like, I'm pushing, but I'm pushing my belly. Got a hernia. So I'm pushing. Yeah, I pushed my intestines through my abdominal wall. So I'm like, okay, yeah, didn't get hemorrhoids, but now I got this gash on my stomach because I had to have that repaired like 6 months after I had my son. But in regards to God being real, I always tell him he was meant to be here because he absolutely was. I had a lot of highs and a lot of lows during my pregnancy. And at one point I was like, I don't think I can do this. Like, it was so painful. I had so much going on. I had a lot of people that depended on me. I said I couldn't do it. My mom talked me off the roof. And I thank God for her because I honestly don't know if my son would even be here. Like, it was that bad. But yeah, I know God is real. And he does too. Because I said, dude, you had a lot stacked up against you. And I had miscarriages before him. And then I had a miscarriage after him. Because I was like, and he begged me for a sibling. And I said, ooh, I don't know if I can give that to you, And my son asked me, and I don't want to tear up, so I'm not, because I didn't done this already. But he asked me to ask God to give him a sibling too. Well, if I'm here, ask God if he'll give me a sibling. And yeah, it tore me up because I knew at the time I couldn't. I had already had my hysterectomy. Left that part out too. After my last miscarriage, which was 2 years ago, I ended up having to get a hysterectomy. Like, after I had that miscarriage, I started to lose, and really it was the fibroids. I had a lot of fibroid tissue. Just my uterus was just wrecked, honestly. But I was losing pieces of my uterus, not just the miscarriage. I was actually losing pieces of my uterus. And I'm like, okay, what is this? Like, there's a video I probably would show it. I don't know if people are like ready for that, but I do have a video of it because I had to show it to my doctor. But there's like big pieces of I'm like, what is this? And she said, it's more than likely, it could be fibroids tissue, it could be your uterus. But I'm bleeding every day. Now we're talking about months after I had this miscarriage. Months, okay? And I'm like, I'm done. I don't think I can continue to do this. So she's like, well, you can have a hysterectomy at this point. Like, are you planning on having any more kids? I said, you know what? No, I'm not. Like, I don't think my body can take it at this point. And plus, I'm old. Like, I'm in my 40s now. I'm like, yeah, I don't think that's going to happen. So she's like, you know what? Well, let's do it. We'll go through the process of you having a hysterectomy. So I did. And my son is like, yeah, I want a sibling. And this boy is driving us crazy because he is the only child. And he will be the only child. So we have that going for us. I haven't even started on this lanyard, okay? I just realized I only have like a bead on here. I just ramble. Like, oh my goodness. But God is real. Like, he really is. I prayed for my son. I prayed night and day that I didn't care what happened to me, as long as my son was here and he was healthy. And he is. This boy is an amazing kid. And I'm like, how did I get blessed with him? It's so crazy, because I'm like, did I deserve him? How did I deserve this kid, you know? But he's an amazing child. Like, his name is Malik. He'll tell you. I'm Malik Josiah Crawford Pootie. My mom gave him that name, Pootie. So, but yeah, maybe one day you guys will get to meet him.